y'all, it's time.
Come on, let's go. Let's do it.
Rolling on the road
With the doc,
rolling on the road,
with Dave,
rolling on the road.
with the doc.
100 shades of the possibilities with Dave and Dr. Burton.
All right. That was cool. Yeah. Hey, let's go.
And our guest just got up and walked away. Where'd he go?
No, he didn't. He come back.
Oh, there he is.
He back.
Oh.
This is great.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
We got this going. We're excited to have Diva D today be our guest co-host. Dave may roll in, but she's going to be co-hosting In and Out this month with us for Black History, and we are excited about that. And the question for the whole month to everybody is, it's 56 years later since Dr. King did his I Have a Dream speech in Washington, D.C. And the question is, has any or all or part of the dream been realized? And if so, what have you done in these last 56 years? But I mean, I know that you only about 15 or 20. Diva D, she only 12, and I ain't 2. So, we really haven't had a chance to do a whole bunch of nothing. But, we talking about the other peoples. And
Yeah.
Them old folks. But what have we done, to realize Dr. King's dream?
I'll take that.
Yes, sir.
I think that Dr. King's dream is a work in progress. It's a continuous, functional type of situation that gets kind of chipped off, for us, those of us that kind of understand the movement of us folks, Black folks, as we move through.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the political leaders like Conyers and some of the other political leaders that have really chipped off at the dream and worked to get Dr. King's name in Congress so that it could be recognized on a yearly basis, So I think it's a work in progress. I think, at certain instances, all of us contribute to making the wrong right.
True. We want to say good afternoon to Tracy Walls, who is a military veteran, Army, I believe, and I definitely would like to get her opinion when it comes to those of us who have served in the military. Did we see some of the changes? Because we know that there are those who served before us, like the Montfort Marines, who they didn't have the same rights that we did, coming in. What are your thoughts about that, Dee?
Well, I can't actively say about the military women, but I can say I'm in a different class as well. I'm a union woman. So all the things that the entire women movement or Black movement that was laid upon the steps from Dr. Martin Luther King and his partners, I've been blessed that I walk into his shoes. And I belong to a progressive church, and I'm an active member of the NAACP. So I'm not only am I in the crowd of, I'm probably leading the demonstration. I'm out in front to make sure that the things of his dream become a reality. It's so very powerful to know that we still have to fight every day just to remain where we are and not lose our footing. Voter education is the most powerful voice that we have. If you don't see change in front of you, then you be the change.
Amen. Amen.
Paul, when you look at Grand Rapids, and where we started and you was it in 1988.
You got that right. God, you
Yeah,
remember it.
1988 when you came into politics. How has how has it changed? What does the landscape look like starting in 88 and now this is 2024 and we look at what Martin was doing? Do you think we've made a lot of progress?
I think we have. In 1988, that was a heck of a year for me. I had just come out of going to Memphis for the Democratic Mini Convention, where I met Congressman Ford and Congressman Conyers, and they became mentors for me as well, and helped me throughout my career in politics, helping other people. So because that's the goal, is to basically be able to help other people. So Conyers and Congressman Ford helped me to help other people. Let me give you one example. We had a real bad police chief here.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
One time, and he was pretty terrible. But Chief Haggerty, I'm not gonna bite no bones about it. And Congressman Conyers came down to Grand Rapids at our request, mine and the Urban League's request, and held a session at First Community AME Church. And the caption reads, blacks are tired of being mistreated. But we were able to do that. And then, Haggerty hurried up his situation and left. But it was a terrible thing at that point. People were getting beat up, roughed up, calling names in the neighborhood and stuff like that. So we had to put an end to some of that. Some of that's still going on.
Yeah.
But then we didn't sit back and just say we did this and that's it. Because then at some point we put together the Civilian Appeals Board. And when we put together the Civilian Appeals Board, we wanted it to have the power to subpoena witnesses and stuff like that. Mayor Logie saw that we got 19,000 signatures from people in this community. So he said he had to take that, put it under his arm and do it himself, and where he took the power out of it. So now you got a Civilian Appeals Board, but it don't have the power that we were seeking for people.
Right.
But then it's still on the books. You do have to answer to it sometime. And that's major progress in the city of Grand Rapids, and not just toot my own horn, but just major progress that somebody else has got a position to redress some of the stuff that's been going on in our community.
Yes. We want to say hello to Shayna, who is in Bel Air, Maryland. We want to say hey to Bertaji, who is in Detroit. Go on and say it.
How y'all doing?
She's supposed to say another Detroiter is on. So there you go. Thank you.
Hey, that's all right. I used to work in Detroit organizing with the Acorn movement.
Oh, okay. I work with them as well. Acorn, Jobs with Justice, the Great
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I was the Acorn People's Platform Committee chair, and we organized all over Kent County and all over the state.
Okay. And let me say, to back up, in 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King came down our main street of Woodward Avenue in
remember
Detroit.
that.
I was only 4 years old, but my grandfather took me and put me up on his shoulders. And he said, "Look at that baby girl. Remember what we're saying. Remember those voices. Remember that passion. Remember those faces. because one day I'm not going to be here, and I need you to continue this struggle. And I hope
Hmm.
I've made all of my ancestors proud, because I get out there. I have a voice and I have a platform. And I want to do the best that I can to make sure that I continue the foundation that they left for us, for the generations that's coming behind me. I
And you
am.
can and you can catch DVD worldwide every Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on your Facebook
Facebook.
page,
Yes.
Decodes.
Yes. And
We
also
want
on
to say
TikTok, Decode.
TikTok.
Okay, cool, cool.
We want to say hello to Alyssa Carter, who is watching. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And we want to know, it is now quarter after the hour, and we're excited. We do have, wow, Reverend Dr. Paul Mayhew here with us, who has been instrumental in the Grand Rapids, Michigan area in realizing Dr. King's dream. He was a city commissioner
County
and
commissioner.
county,
Thank you.
he was a county commissioner and has done some great things throughout the city over the years since 1988. And we have guest co-host Dee Coates, who is here from Detroit. So all you Detroiters, do it for us.
What up, though?
Okay, there we
All
go.
right.
And one more. 313.
All right, the
Okay.
313 is in the house, and we're so grateful for that. You know,
I'd like to take a little bit at this time, because in 1968, April 4th, I was going to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. That's the day Dr. King got killed. I was in the line, and they were calling us all kind of, you know how they do a new troop. They was calling us all kind of new names, just crazy. And so I felt so bad, because all of what was happening back home was on fire, literally on fire. And I couldn't get out to help. So in 1968, I got out of the Army on a hardship in 1969. And when I went to Fort Hood, finally go to Fort Hood, the people there just went ape, because they would not let us celebrate Dr. King's death, which was the first year of the death. And we just, it was chaos. I mean, total chaos. And I write about that in my new book, Another Brother in the Struggle. I write about what happened in Fort Hood. Nobody ever knew that there was that type of riot that was going on in Fort Hood at that time. That was in 69, April 69, where we wanted to be able to celebrate Dr. King's death and made commitments to come back to make our homes and streets better.
wow.
Thank you, Shayna. Thank you so much. And being a labor activist, a community activist, I had that same problem at the telephone company. Major telephone did not want to acknowledge Dr. King as a legal holiday. So it hasn't been that long where I was sitting at that table going against corporate America, going, are you kidding me? We acknowledge Abraham Lincoln. We acknowledge and he's a part of our history, and definitely from the wrong side. But all of these things that, I mean, they even gave us, celebrations on St. Patrick's Day, and I'm like, what is this? A member of our community has transpired into greatness and left a legacy, and we have to continue this dream. We have to continue to educate our children and our children's children. Every year, during Black History Month, when my children were younger and teenagers and young adults, I would give every week, and I would give some type of event at my home. and I would cook for my children and their friends. And you just say food, and and people gonna come. So I cooked something, but as I was cooking, I played uh, movies for them,
Mm-hmm.
teaching them their history. My children now are 40 and 45, and all of their friends, they still reach out and touch me on Facebook, and they're saying thank you,
Yeah.
because all the education that they got it at my house. I don't leave our education and our history to chance. If they teach it in school, that's what I'm sitting on the board to do. I'm at the teacher
Yes.
meetings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the neighborhood watch. But the first thing, you have to teach it at home.
Yeah, you do.
You have
You
to teach
do.
it at home. Your history is sitting at the dining room table with you. I
Right.
didn't learn my history and my ancestors through ancestry.com. I listened to my grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
my
Mhm.
aunt. I listened to their stories. When they were in there cooking, I sat down and I listened. So I
Yeah.
know my history. I live. I am fifth generation
Yeah.
of
Well,
evangelism.
yeah,
We
and
want
that's great.
James says, thank you, Mr. Paul, for keeping the dream alive.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. My dad, when I was a little bitty baby, about 3 or 4 years old, down in Arkansas, my dad got into it with his boss, white bosses, because he was a double cotton picker. I used to ride on the
Oh,
sack, and he pick cotton with both hands. And
oh,
they got to messing with his money. So he asked about his money. And when he asked about his money, they said he getting uppity. So they
oh,
put a hanging crew out to hang him, my dad. So that was in Water Valley, Mississippi. So by the time I was born, and I was born in Kaiser, Arkansas. And I was about 3 or 4 years old, and the Klan came to our house.
Mm.
Came to our house, and it was between 50 and 100 people out in the front of our house burning a cross. So my dad was walking around with a pistol. Said, if you come in here, he said, your bad words, I'm killing somebody. I
Mm.
won't say the bad words, but he did say that. So the next thing we know, after a while, we were on a bus moving up to White Cloud, Michigan, because the Klan came to our house and burnt that cross. Now I sit and watched that cross burn at 3 or 4 years old. Watched it and listened to my dad. He always said, boy, you don't listen to me. But he just didn't know that I was imprinting him in my head. And so we moved to White Cloud, Michigan. And from there, it was the rest is just involvement, trying to, and I guess it must have made me say you have to make the wrong things right. That must have been what clicked in my head back when I was 3 or 4 years old. Thus becomes me
mm-hmm.
today.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I know that will educate and inspire everyone that hear that story, that you have things that's going on, and it's going on in the north, it's going on in the south, east
Oh
and
yeah,
west. You know, the things that has troubled us have been on our back. Are
yeah,
we neighbors keeper? Are we our brothers keeper? Are we our sisters keepers? Yes, we are.
yeah. And then can we subdue our passions? When you think your sister or brother did you wrong, can you subdue your passions enough to go and shake their hands?
Mm.
Can you subdue your passions enough to not throw a foul word over there sometime? It's hard sometimes because I'm black too. But every now and then you have to subdue your passion.
Yes,
That's a good one.
that's an excellent one, because I
Yeah, that.
subdue passion, because um I have learned, and I continuously ask the Lord to help me not to
Yes.
react, not to react
Yes.
to the situation when it happens, because I'm from Detroit, and I'm from the east side of
I
Detroit.
know well about the east side.
Okay, I'm back in Bewick proud,
Yeah.
and our reaction is we don't take nothing from nobody at no time.
Yeah.
So our first thing is going, what? You know, you start taking off the earrings and you putting your hair back, you know, and so we have to sometimes take a breath
Yeah,
and
we do.
breathe through our emotions and step back. But
Yeah.
Dr. King, I've seen so many things on him, and he wasn't always backed by the NAACP.
Well, he
And
wasn't backed by the NAACP. That's why the
right,
Southern Christian Leadership Council came in. The
right,
Southern
and that,
Christian Leadership Council came in because the NAACP was kind of stepping soft on the movement. So then they developed the
mhm,
Southern Christian Leadership Council, SCLC, so that the
mhm,
preachers that understood could get involved.
Well, that's a great
mhm.
segue right there. Do you believe that in now that preachers are involved in politics like they were back then?
No.
No. At one point now in Grand Rapids, we had when Reverend John Williams was pastor at New Hope, we
Mhm.
had political action committees in those churches. So when we brought Jesse Jackson to Grand Rapids, based on our political action committee that was in our church, but they don't have that no more.
Yeah. Well, I am blessed that I am at that type of a church. Um, my pastor is the Reverend Dr. Wendell Anthony, and he
Oh,
is
heck yeah.
oh,
You don't have to say no more.
okay. So I am blessed and highly favored that I
You
sit
don't have to say no more. I know Wendell. He's a Reverend Dr. Wendell. He's a
with
great person.
Dr. Wendell Anthony.
Yes,
Power.
Dr. Wendell Anthony.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Power.
why do you think that we as the Black church have taken a back seat and not come to the forefront to step up like Martin did?
Money. Money.
Money,
You know?
money.
Money. People getting greased in the palm.
Mm-hmm.
You put this program, hey, I'll help you. I'll help you. Well, yeah, you're gonna help because you got all kind of excessive money in your bank account. So you're gonna
Right,
help me so you can brag on my tongue.
right.
Mhm.
And if we don't appease the money bags,
Yeah,
then we lose our support.
yeah, yeah.
We
And see,
we
that's where we
we
are
take
now.
yeah, we take a risk in offending the money people. For somebody go, oh, sister so and so, she ain't gonna like that, or brother so and so, yeah, he can't get behind that. So it we seem to take 2 steps forward, and then we hustle and slide and take 3 steps back.
Yeah. So
You know,
we
we
have to
we
keep your
make progress.
eyes on the prize. The
Hmm.
prize is your salvation.
Absolutely.
Mhm. We
So
want to say hey. We want to say hey to Hazel Tyler. Thank you so much for tuning in. And this has really been enlightening, and definitely the part about our pastors not really stepping up, it has been very disheartening
it
because
is.
I believe that Trump should have never been in office,
Right?
that we should have all pulled together. And here he is now trying to come back around. And we really need to be in the game and get into some great places to be able to change some things for ourselves. So what would you grade, first of all, the Grand Rapids area? How would you grade us? And then, of course, D, how would you grade Detroit as it relates to the dream?
Well, one thing I could say about the dream right now, we can't forget Jesse Jackson in this whole axiom, because he was one of the Dr. King's chief lieutenants.
True.
And he came out with a concept when we were organizing in the 80s in Detroit and in Michigan of operational unity. Now, what is operational unity? Operational unity is that I know Kim, and I've just beginning to meet this lady here. She throw up a sign wherever she is in the state. I'm supposed to be able to at least acknowledge that sign and move that way.
Yeah.
That's the way operational unity worked. And we figured that out during the time in 1984 when we organized statewide precinct delegates for Jesse Jackson.
Mhm.
We went to San Francisco as Jesse Jackson delegates because of operational unity. We couldn't get all those people together in one place, but then the signal came out that operational unity is here, and that we got to act accordingly. So people signed up for precinct delegates that we didn't even talk to and join the cause. That
Right.
on their own.
Yeah,
That's what operational unity is.
But he
Yeah.
ran for president in 1984, and I remember
84.
that because I was in the United States Navy down in Charleston, South Carolina, and I remember that all of us who were of color that were in the military, we all got together. It was my first year that I was going to be able to vote. So I was so excited that my first year in 84 that I was actually voting for someone Black to be president. I still have that ball cap.
And that's powerful.
At that
That is
time,
so powerful.
we were able to get ball caps where we were down in Charleston. And so we all had our ball caps on. And as a whole unit went and we voted. And, they didn't have cell phones like that back then where we could have done all these posts, posted in social media. It would have been just monumental to have all these young Black folks who are in the military serving their country, voting, many of us, for the first time. So when you talk about that, I was just like, oh my gosh, that was so, an exciting time in life for me, and just monumental for the country that here it is, we have an African-American man running for president of the United States.
That's operational unity.
Right.
That coin of when Jackson, and it was another brother coined it before Jackson, but when that concept hit the road, we all began, that was in the leadership position, understood that I don't have to be all in your face all the time. I just have to see the signal and join the signal, as opposed to I have to be at your meeting all the time, all day long. It ain't like that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know when I was 16 years old and I was in high school, we had a government class and an economics class, and Mayor Coleman A. Young.
Yes.
He came in to speak to us
Mm.
and given us the importance of voting. I was only 16.
Mm-hmm.
And when he came in, it was like a whole, whole being, a whole era just walked into our class.
Yes.
And told us the rights and the education of voting.
Yes.
You get to be 18, you get to decide your fate and your education and your dream.
Yeah.
And it has always been my dream to make him continuously proud of the work that he started, the fire, the passion.
Oh, it was a fire that he set.
Yeah. Oh man, you better not.
Fire that he set.
Yes. So
yeah, he set a brush fire. Because we had people who wanted to run for mayor here. Mayor Parks came in Grand Rapids, but Coleman Young He came in on the Big Four. You
Yeah,
remember the Big Four? The
yeah,
Big Four used to. I was scared to go to Detroit because of the Big Four.
absolutely, absolutely.
I was scared I was going to get stopped on the corner and beat in the head. Because
Dr. Kim, explain to her what the Big Four was.
Hold on 1 second.
go ahead.
So we want to say thank you to Brenda Cox, who is now watching. It is 4:31, and we want to say thank you so much for tuning into Rolling on the Road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave. We have our guest host today, which is Diva D Worldwide. Her show can be seen on D Coates on Facebook and D Coates on TikTok every Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. We have Reverend Dr. Paul Mayhew, who was a county commissioner, but has been instrumental since 1988 in moving the African American community forward, and has worked with so many people and has served. You were in the Army, correct?
Yes.
He was in the United States Army. So, I love a veteran. Yep, being a veteran.
Me
But
too.
but we want to say thank you so much. This is segment 1 of many for the month of February, and it's 56 years later. How have we realized Dr. King's dream? Have we realized it? And if so, how much of it have we realized? And what part have you played over the years? Have you just kind of rolled along, gone with the wave, or say, hey, I'm not gonna, ruffle any feathers? Or have you gotten in there and gotten into the fight? And we want to say thank you for all of you who have over the years chosen to get into the fight. We want to say thank you for those who have given their lives. We take a moment of silence now for those who have lost their lives in the struggle. We are grateful for pastors like Diva D's pastor, and even my own pastor, Pastor Daryl Gaddy, who have stepped in and stepped up and said, hey, I'm going to do my part as it relates to making some changes for our community. And so we are just grateful for those who have not backed down or backed up. And I even threw my hat in a Trumpster district and said, you know what, I'm going to get out there no matter what. And I would definitely say in 2022, I was surprised to see that the Ku Klux Klan is real.
Yes.
That they are still in operation. And some of the things that I experienced while on the campaign trail, I don't think that anybody should ever have to experience. It gave me a greater respect for Dr. King.
Yes.
It just
take your time, baby. Take your time.
It just
take your time.
Breathe, sister. Breathe.
Breathe. I understand what you're talking about. When I ran for mayor of the city of Grand Rapids, my campaign manager was arrested and beat. And they tried to take his wife's kids and put them in the children's home. This is Grand Rapids.
Yeah. We want to say
Grand Rapids. So take your time, baby. I love you. Love you. Take your time.
I'm grateful for God's protection during that time. I'm grateful for a husband who kept me covered.
Yes.
We went to one of the counties. We were the only persons of color, just my husband and I. And they felt comfortable with calling us the N-word, told us to go home, and the things that they would do, to us. And
yes. Just take your time, baby. Take your time.
I said, this is 2022. And I just remember coming home and him and he was like, it's going to be all right. And no matter what, we're in this together. I have you, and I'm not going to he said, I will die protecting you. You can know that.
Yeah.
And for him to even have to say that.
Yeah.
Right.
In 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
For him to even, to protect me, my honor, and number one, as a woman, as a Black woman. And it just
it was disheartening to think that human beings can't communicate on a level and without xenophobia. Xenophobia is when one person thinks that they higher and above you,
Yes.
and we on the same ilk, because just because you live in the country out in the boonies and I live in the city, you get jacked around too. See, and that's the message that some of the whites don't get. Just because they live in where they live, they got whites over them and they get jacked around too. But then when it comes to us, we get jacked triple.
We want to say thank you for Heather Kitson. We want to say thank you to Heather Kitson and Shirley Brasso for tuning in. Thank you so much. While we just have this moment, for me, I had to really stop and say, well, how can I really best, help the community? Because now would have been time, put my hat in the ring again for 2024. And when you tell me how you feel about me, I believe you.
Right.
I believe you. But I am honored that there were 15,360 brave folks who voted for me. I didn't even expect that many votes.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that did vote for me had to do it in secret.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the part that was probably number one disheartening. However, I felt honored that they were risking everything about them to vote for me. Mm-hmm. Because there were many who couldn't even say that they were for me during the time that I was campaigning.
Yeah.
They couldn't even say that they were in agreement. There were divided households, even with husbands and wives.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe, in 2022 that this was happening. And the first thing I thought about was, I can only imagine how Dr. King felt.
Yeah.
Because I was in those rural areas. I was on the backside of the mountain where my husband and I could have driven there and y'all wouldn't have seen us again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had people tell me that we would put a yard sign in, but they're just going to come and rip it up, and we don't want to be identified like that. So we would prefer not to have a yard sign. The things that haven't been, talked about. There wasn't a debriefing. There wasn't anything. So now, it's 2 years later, I can have an opportunity to, talk about it. I mean, and even when I think about how I had the heart attack and when the cardiologist came in there talking to me, we know who you are, we know what you were doing, and we think that maybe you can do something other than politics.
Yeah.
To be able to help your community.
Yeah. When I would sometimes walk out of my door, I'd say, yea, though I walk through the valley in the shadow of death, I fear no evil, because I know God is with me. So you have to be strong in your faith, because this thing, the political thing, it's your bread and butter. It's what you eat. It's what you sleep. It's your housing. It's your grandkids going to school. It's all of that. So though you walk through the valley in the shadow, you fear no evil, because God is with you. and you got to go and do God's work. That's what we are. We are assigned to God's work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We are assigned to God's work. And I just thank God that my dad said, Paul, you ain't never listened to me. He was telling the story then, because I listened to him and I read him from head to toe. But we didn't have a perfect relationship, but I loved him and I did what he said.
You respected him.
Yeah, but see, like all I could hear was my dad
Yeah.
saying that you were built for this, you were designed for this for such a time as this, and everything that I've done was to get you here. And you know how my dad felt about me,
Oh
and
yes, I do. He was my friend.
all that, he was always putting into me. So I had that to hold on to. But then the sadness is that he missed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why it was important, as I was doing my stakeholders, it was like, who has my dad's voice? Absolutely you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and you definitely sounded so much like him as you were talking. And, but I got your approval.
Yes, you did.
Well,
yes, you did. And you will get it again.
if I may share this story, being up north and being in the labor movement and being in a Christian home, I didn't see all of the things that everybody else saw until we went one year on my family reunion, and it was in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So at that time, I had been working 10 years for the phone company. Me and my husband and my 3 children. So working for being in labor, we make more money than the average person.
Right.
And that's because of our negotiations and whatever. So to have a fur coat would, it was just okay. It's wintertime, you're from Detroit, you got a fur coat on and whatever. Well, we were getting ready on this Sunday morning to go to church. The whole family, we go to the host family's church. So we gather up in the lobby, and my mother made sure that my children always looked like they were going to church. So they always had the bows, the ribbons, the little tuxedo. My son this big with a tuxedo on and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And from a distance, I could feel someone staring at us. But we're just talking about we're getting ready to go, and we had a good time and whatever. And out of the corner of my eye, I hear this murmuring. And so I looked up, and it was a Caucasian lady, and she was just admiring my children, and they had braids, and I did too. Well, we at that time, that was the Stevie Wonder look, with all the braids,
Mm-hmm.
beads and whatever. And so she then she continued to stare at their clothes, and I'm I just got her, whatever it is that she thinking. So she just eased her way up, and she says, "Oh my, your children are so pretty." Thank you. um their hair, their hair is so pretty, and yours is too. Thank you, ma'am. And then she said, "Who bought they dresses?" What? What?
Yeah.
What? Who bought they dresses? Those are pretty little dresses. Who bought they dresses? Do you belong to a family down here, and they handed those down? Lady. And I have to tell you, the words that came out of my mouth was not Christian.
Mm-hmm.
But my message to her is, I'm from Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Detroit. I will whoop you over. But my husband works, and so do I. Nobody buy anything and give us anything. I am a
Mhm.
labor woman. I am a strong Black woman with a strong Black king as my husband. And
All
if you
right.
don't get out in front of my face,
Yeah.
going to be another missing person down here in Tupelo, Mississippi. By that time, the whole family was snatching me up and come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the audacity that she would think and that somebody had to give us something as if
Yeah.
we're less than.
Yeah.
We were less than that my pretty little girls couldn't be pretty little girls with their mother and father.
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't have a one parent home. We came
Right.
two parents down the line
Yeah.
with an extended family, grandmothers on both sides, grandfathers on both sides, aunts and uncle.
Yeah.
At our family reunion, it was nothing but family. But for you to judge us like that, and not to
That,
think that I could not afford to do this for my children, that my husband could not do this for his children.
that has that happens. That's what they call xenophobia. They're gonna put you down to raise themselves up, put you
Well,
down. Now, Kimberly, Dr. Kim,
Yes,
is it
sir.
possible before we close, could I advertise my book signing?
Absolutely, sir. The time is now 4:47, and we want to say thank you so much for tuning into Rolling on the Road. We have a few more minutes, but we want you to know that for the month of February, we are having 2 shows, Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 4 to 5. On tomorrow, we're going to have our realtor, Doretha Orden, yeah, who will be receiving an award, the Melinda Sapp Excellence Award, this week at the Symphony with Soul. We also want to extend our deepest condolences to the families, the Richardson family, and
Oh
the
yes, Lord.
Booker family for Dr. Rayanne Booker, who passed
Yes,
away
Lord.
this weekend, and her funeral will be on Saturday. She also was scheduled to be honored this Saturday at the Symphony for Soul. So we want to keep their families lifted up.
Great worker in the Lord.
Absolutely. And we
Great
can
worker.
definitely say that she is someone who definitely carried out Dr. King's dream in her sphere of influence.
Yes, Lord.
So when is your book signing coming up?
My book signing coming up February the 17th at Heroes Corner. Heroes Corner is at the corner of Eastern and 48th Street. And the book is $20, and you can order it off Amazon. And it's called Another Brother in the Struggle.
And what's the time?
From 3 to 7 p.m.
On the 17th.
On the 17th.
Okay, of February.
Yeah.
Did y'all write that down? Y'all got that?
Yeah.
You got to support another brother who was in the struggle. Yes.
Yeah.
And we will definitely have a link on all of our social media outlets for you to get that.
Okay.
And we'll probably purchase a few of them and give them out to some of our most loyal guests, as we always normally do.
Because it definitely talks about, it chronicles, some of the movements in Grand Rapids and some of the things that I have been involved in personally, especially the Jesse Jackson stuff and the Rainbow Coalition stuff, and then putting together the Civilian Appeals Board. And it just kind of, we filed a complaint against the TV and radio stations in the 80s, in the 90s. And look what we have now, because we filed a complaint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we filed a complaint. But now we look at TV and we have blacks all over TV now, on all stations. But we filed a complaint, the black elected officials. I used to chair the black elected officials. And we filed a complaint. And Kim, you helped us out tremendously in that group. Yes, you did.
We want to say hello to Common Queen, Camo Queen. Hello,
Okay.
hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey, Heidi. That's Heidi. She is a United States Army veteran out of Muskegon, Michigan. So thank you so much for tuning in today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I can I take a plug too?
Yes, we love shameless plugs.
I want to thank my musical producer. I will be releasing my own gospel album and
Oh, great.
entitled Just Me. And that's Tim Ellerby. And yeah, I know, right. I am so excited about that. I am so excited. Um, he he said that you've been working on everybody else's stuff. You've been singing background. You've been doing this, and you're here. You're in the struggle, and you're about the struggle. But what about you, Diva D?
Yeah.
You need to, you know, and the things that he has for me, you are going to absolutely love. I mean, I'm just amazed. And he sent me the cover, and it's me.
Well, I'd sure like a copy. However, whatever it costs. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. And my second plug is I have to say every time I get in front of this camera, my sister, she's helping me
Oh,
with my dream that I didn't even know I was dreaming. Have you ever had a dream and when you wake up, you forget about it? And I said to her, all my friends are doctors. They have doctor this and doctor that. And sister, you're a doctor so and so. She said, you want to be a doctor? You want that in your title? So I am going to be Dr. Diva D.
Good.
And
Good.
my graduation is June 14th. And Dr. Willoughby and Dr. Willoughby.
Oh, Dr. Willoughby. Yeah, he anointed me.
Oh,
They
ow.
anointed me.
I'm in great company. So
Yes.
I want to thank Mrs. and Mr. Dr.
Yes.
Willoughby
Yeah.
and my sister, Dr. Kim. And then soon I'll be Dr. Diva D.
Yeah. Yes.
I just have to always be mindful to thank her publicly. We could talk all night long. We can cry all day long and cry all night long. But in case I don't take the next moment to say, thank you, my sister. I love you dearly.
All I can say is operational unity and keep moving forward because we can do it together. We don't have to be sitting in front
Absolutely.
of each other all the time, but we know the way and the path. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Common Queen says, I'm coming in late, but I'll go back and watch from the start. Yes, because it's a good one. We're doing a whole series this month on Black history. And uh-oh.
Okay.
Our host will be back in a minute.
Yeah.
Every now and then that internet says something. And I am so honored and glad to be on this platform with you, um, Reverend Dr. Paul Mayhew. This is such a treat and an honor for me to be in your presence and to share our stories.
And mine's yours as well as Kimberly's.
Yes.
Yes.
So okay, well it's 4:54, and I'm not sure what happened to her signal. Every now and then things like that happen. So
Yeah.
if you would give your final thought on our progress and where we have come today, as opposed to realizing Dr. King's dream.
Well, all I can say right now is let's reconnect in the atmosphere of love and understanding and peace, love, and understanding. We don't have to take any wood nickels, but we can operate on that level of peace, love, and operational unity, and knowing that we have to pick up that torch, and keep that torch moving. We can do this. We just have to have more love in our heart than hate. Love for each other, love for our community. And if we see somebody that we can get to teach them this love, then let's be able to do that. But we can do this.
Right.
And we can, go right ahead.
My final thought is go out to your community and work. If you don't see what you need to see in your legislation, in your community, then you be about that. You be the change.
Amen. You be the change.
You be the change. If that board don't look like how you want it, then you do it. And you
write it down and send it to them.
Yes. Start with yourself. And then you talk to your neighbor. And then you talk to your family. And then you talk to your community. And then you might be blessed to talk to someone wonderful as the panel that I sit on right now. And we continue. The struggle continues.
Amen.
And I thank you so much for allowing me this space.
Amen.
I want to say thank you to our audience all over the country. We are so excited that in 2023, we reached over 200,000 people. Our top countries were the United States, of course, and our second largest was Nigeria. So we want to say thank you for tuning in and being such loyal viewers. And we want to say thank you to Common Queen, who was watching us on YouTube. And so you can go back. We're on 7 platforms. We're on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, X, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, as well as YouTube. And thank you for all of you who have made the sacrifices over these last 56 years and will continue to make sacrifices so that we can realize Dr. King's dream, regardless of your color, your creed, your ability. Maybe you may have some overlapping, and we want to say thank you. And that this is only segment 1 of many. We will be here again on tomorrow, same time, same place, and we will be for the rest of the month of February. So we're really excited. And tomorrow we're going to have Miss Doretha. Many of you know her and you see her on Fridays when she does her set on Fridays. She's at set number 202. This week it'll be 203 of the 2 hours from, 7 to 9 on Fridays. And then on Sundays from 2 to 3, the hour of power. But she will be with us. And we want to say thank you, Heidi. Yes, love always prevails. And we'll see you again this time tomorrow.
Amen.
All right. See you guys.
Bye-bye.